check this place out. Fancy. Yes. Good afternoon. How may I assist you? Yeah, I was told by the Transmutation Magic front office that I could come here to see a guy named Professor Ferguson. Is that you? Yes, I am Professor Ferguson. And you are? Shaft. Hey, I only have a few minutes here. I gotta go back to the Learning Center and hook up with some associates. But what I need is somebody to help me out with the spell I've been working on, Flaming Arrows. It just doesn't seem to be working the way I think it should. Of course. But before I do, could you tell me what happened last time on the Incorrigible party? Yeah. That sounds like a fair trade.
Swiftly making their way into the mountains with Shaft as their guide, the party finds the abandoned orc settlement, magically marked on their map by the amulet of Kalar. Approaching cautiously and stealthily, they soon discover the settlement to be inhabited by a large number of basilisks. Petrified Nyogi and their thralls decorating the snowy camp and serving as their preserved meals.
Well done, Shaft. It looks like you've mastered it. But I will caution you. You can only maintain focus on one such spell at a time. Casting another spell requiring your full attention will dispel the flaming arrows. What do you mean? That's not true. You can concentrate on more than one thing. I do it all the time. I assure you, you cannot. Masters of the Arcane have tried for millennia and have not attained the ability to cast two such spells at one time. What are you talking about? You mean these guys can't figure out how to think about two things at one time? I mean, what if you have a Jolvi song stuck in your head? You know, you're singing it and along and you're going, I sure would like to go get a nice Alebender stout. I mean, you could keep both of those things in your head at one time. Well, that's not exactly surely it's not much of a leap to think that if I mark somebody for death with a spell, I can't also think that I can kill them with the flaming arrows. Well, Shaft, it doesn't work like that. You Wait, see... Let me cut you off right there, Professor. Hey, I obviously have offended you. I'm sorry. As you know, I'm a novice at this stuff, and, nobody told me I couldn't do it, so I just didn't know any better. But so far be it from me to argue about how spells work, right? But I do appreciate what you've done. I've got to get back to the adventure.
Can I dismiss him?
Yeah, if you want to dismiss him, absolutely.
Yeah. Just poof, he's gone. So I don't have to watch that. So, but he's dead now, right? So if I want him back, I have to do the 1 hour, 10 minute casting.
That's right.
Sparky is gone.
Oh, I'm sorry, Shakara.
I guess we stay hidden until, give Shaft as much time as possible to clear out the camp.
We cannot move right now. They might see us.
How big are they? Are they full grown?
They are about 5 feet long, I think.
Oh, goodness. So there's multiple of these we're going to have to deal with.
I see 3. Shaft said there was one in the tent near us. Do we know about the one in the tent north of us? Did you signal to us?
I think I gave you that one.
That would have been within sight of all of you. So yeah, Shaft could have given a signal like, ugh, fun in here.
So that makes at least 5.
Right, we stay still until we hear fighting, until they come at us, or we hear Shaft fighting. Just give them more time.
I think after seeing that one farther up north, I would head back to sort of grab everybody and try to drag them along, right? Yeah, so I'd like to make my way back to them.
Are these things nocturnal?
I'm not sure, Shakara.
No idea.
Do you want me to give you any kind of roll or anything to go back?
Yeah, you can give me a stealth to get back. And it does appear like where you are, you're like on the eastern edge of the settlement. So like kind of you're on the outskirts of it, right? You're checking the outskirts. And of course, like I had mentioned before, some of these tents are the ones that are in the most disrepair.
It's a 38 again.
Okay. I don't know why I get you to bother rolling.
Wow.
Yeah, why bother?
One of these times he's gonna roll a 1.
Yeah, well, even then, I think it's like
But even then, he's like
17
20.
or something.
Yeah.
18. It's an 18. So, yeah, I want to get back down and sort of go, the one up in the north, the farthest one. There's one on the other side of this tent. That one's safe. This one here, though, you got to be... Whoa. What's those blue lights over there?
There are 3 over there.
They killed Sparky, so we're hiding.
Oh, which way are they going?
I don't know. We hid from sight.
Are they nocturnal?
Shaft would know. I would think I think they'd be more in caves, so they would probably be, I'd say, I think they can get around well at night for sure.
I was just curious as to when they would go to sleep. If we could wait them out.
Well, I think they were sleeping. Apparently, your little buddy woke them up.
Any sign of the gauntlets?
No. But we still have a whole other side of the camp.
Yeah, we gotta go west. That's where they are.
We could go up north, but we're going to be passing this one that's got one in it. If we go back around south, we might have a better path.
We'll follow you, Shaft.
So I'm going to head back down to where we originally came into the camp, and we know that a couple of those tents down there were safe. So to go all the way down south and sort of head over as far west until we hit something we're not really sure about.
And if you wanted to act in an abundance of caution, you could move like further west, further away from the actual settlement, and then similar to how you avoided the tracks of the Nyogi force, just make a bit of a loop and come like over, down, and around, back up north, right?
That makes sense. I think I would probably do that. Go out and then come in from another angle.
Right. Okay. And now we want to continue moving like northwest then?
Yes.
Sparky checked these before he was taken.
So they're good?
Yes. At least this one I know.
What about that one over there, right next to it?
I am not sure.
Okay. And I work my way up towards that tent and try to look in.
And we'll hang back at the tent we know is safe.
Wow. Another 38. That's 3 crits stealth checks in a row.
Okay, what is the lowest you could possibly get for a stealth with Pass Without Trace?
18.
Okay. There's no longer a need for you to make stealth checks to avoid, because you know that you're creeping around what look to be sleeping basilisks. So with that minimum, yeah, that far exceeds the DC you need to beat.
All right, so I'm going to continue to walk around the encampment, and when I find there's a safe one, like where the 2 tents that I'm standing next to now, I will go back, grab them, sort of walk them up to that area, and we'll sort of work our way around the camp.
We could roll badly, but...
Yes, anytime the entire party moves, you'll be making stealths, absolutely. So, again, moving further north, now you're on kind of the northwestern edge of the settlement. More petrified Nyogi and Umber Hulks and Orcs. So you're going to check the immediate tents.
So intense.
Yes.
I was thinking that. I was like, how do I make an intense joke?
Basilisk is intense. So you find that from where the party is holed up against the adjoining tents, there's one further to the left and one kind of more northeast to the right, both of which have sleeping basilisks inside.
So what's the count to now that we're aware of? Is that 5?
7.
Because 2 are still walking around?
3 are.
Okay.
3 walking around and 4 sleeping.
Yes, and in fact, it does appear that a 4th set of eyes have joined the 3 that are kind of milling about.
So there's 8.
Unless one woke up. Gee whiz, that's a lot of basilisk.
We best keep sneaky in.
Mm-hmm.
Let's head. Do you guys want to try to come up to where I am?
It's up to you to wave us over there.
I'm going to probably head up to this tent north, because that one has a basilisk in it, so I don't want to move them closer to that. So I'm going to try to go across. And I assume these Nyogi and Umberhawks that I'm passing are all turned to stone.
That's correct, yeah.
So in a way, we should be grateful to the Basilisk for taking care of all these creatures for us.
Exactly.
Yes.
You do find another empty tent.
And these ones that are walking around, where are they located relative to me?
Just beware the way some of the tents are arranged. You don't have a direct line of sight to all of them from where you are.
So these eyes that glow blue, they come on, they look like little faraway lantern type of things, and then they go out, and then they appear someplace else, that kind of thing?
No.
Okay. I just see them moving around out on the outskirts of the camp.
Yeah, again, because they're outside of your range of vision, all you can make out are the lights.
Right. Okay. I'll move over to the tent furthest to the west. I'll wave Shakara could see me, so I'll sort of wave her over to the tent that I just checked.
Without coming back to get us, to give us the advantage of your
that's a good point.
stealth?
Yeah, I will move back. Good point. I'll go back and say, follow me.
All right, then all the party can give me a stealth. And remember, when we move as a unit, we take kind of a group stealth, which we've done throughout the campaign.
With Shaft's bonus, Shakara has a 23.
Adjusted 20 for Falsey.
14 for Mia.
The 14 is technically a fail, but again, that was only one fail in the bunch of you.
I'm a single fail.
Pass without trace, just coming in clutch here. And Shaft is like pointing out the tents that have a basilisk inside. You can move up to the northmost empty one that Shaft has checked. And the rest of you kind of moving next to the petrified Umber Hulks. Again, many of them, still like missing pieces of them that they've just like been snapped off by these basilisks.
Okay, going to the one to the west. I am looking to see if there's a basilisk in there, but I'm also seeing if there's an arm with a gauntlet on it, maybe.
Oh, I'm sorry. You didn't clarify you were looking for the gauntlets this whole time.
I'm sorry, yeah.
You're going to have to do another loop.
I gotta go all back around.
Okay, so are you going to want to basically like check all the northern tents here before returning?
Yeah.
So there's looks like there's about 5 or so, or 6 including the one you just checked and confirmed is empty. And you can prance about, coming up close to the end of this path without trace here.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But you can get this cluster of tents here.
So we've been sort of sneaking around here for close to an hour, and whatever you
I have
show
nothing
me
to
here.
show for it. Yes, you're right.
Well, we have a lot to show for it.
Just...
We know exactly where not to go.
Yeah.
And we are checking every opportunity to see where these gauntlets may be. So far, there's nothing in this encampment that we saw that sort of alludes to anything coming up from the ground or any that we've seen so far.
Just like piles of rocks, yeah.
I mean, there's a buttload of these Nyogi and Umberhawks around, so...
Correct. As you're moving forward more north, so it looks like only like in one of 6 of these, kind of on the western edge here, you find another slumbering one, and the rest of you from your position too, kind of keeping an eye on the bouncing pairs of eyes. It does look like they have gone out now. You can't see them anymore as well.
Because they went back to sleep, I'm sure.
Yeah, Shakara though still within your dark vision range. You have witnessed them like move back into a tent after they've kind of been roused by Sparky's intrusion, and it does look like they've perhaps gone back into sleep.
I think they went back to sleep.
Also within Shakara's range, and now Shaft's as he's explored further north, you do find what looks like to be a main tent, and this tent is significantly larger than anything else, any of the other tents that you've kind of been poking into. About 40 or so feet north of that large, like central hearth and kind of fire pit. The other thing that Shaft has made out here further north, more petrified orcs up here as well. But it does look like on the the back of this tent, it looks like there's like burn marks on it, like a circular burn mark on the rear wall of it. And peering, like you can look and peer and see a straight line to a hole on the roof, like as if something has pierced through the roof at an angle kind of down to the wall. And following that trajectory, there looks like a hole in the ground, a pit.
So when I see this, I'll go back, sneak back to everybody and go, I think I know where it came out. Behind that big tent there.
Yes, I see. Like a pit.
Okay, let me go check it out. I'll be right back.
Take us with you.
And I look over at Mia and go, she's a little loud.
Did you see any of them up there? Any of the creatures?
She's loud too.
Shh.
Point to Shakar.
I'll say, no, I didn't see anything, but...
We would be safer up that way then.
Okay, stick close.
Right behind you.
Walking, sort of go up to where these stone Neogi are and, walk up there, sort of stick behind them, look around a little bit, listen, and then move on until I make it all the way to the large tent. With them in tow.
Okay.
Yeah, right behind.
Everybody can make me a stealth.
15 for Mia.
Oh, shoot, I thought that was a 5. It's a 15. I'm good. So that is 27.
19 for Falsey.
That's why he pointed at me.
And as we get up there, I look back at Shakar and go, I think my spell's gonna end soon.
Then it's better we're away from those creatures.
I shake my head, yes. As I did here on the recording.
Okay, you want to proceed to the pit?
Yep. Into the pit. Or not into the pit. To the pit. I assume everybody's in tow behind me.
Yes, I am following you to the pit.
And I'm going to take a look. Does it look like the ground, something came out of the ground and thrown dirt all around, and then, something exited this pit and then went into the tent, or the other way around, like it came through the top of the tent and made the pit?
Doesn't look like there's any excess of dirt or displaced dirt around this pit, but a layer, more like it's just a layer of ice that actually surrounds it, and like this frozen waterfall is kind of formed over the edges. Long, like thin icicles kind of hang inside of it.
Is there anything in the pit? And how deep is the pit? And how wide is the pit?
Peering over the side, only Shakara with her dark vision can see the bottom of it. Does look like to be roughly 100 feet down.
Wow.
A little difficult to make out what's at the bottom, but there's something down there. It looks like something that's kind of bundled up and almost like half buried. The pit itself is less than a 10 by 10. It's fairly narrow, and there is a slant to it as well.
That's deep, man.
Shaft, go see what's in there.
I can't even see the bottom.
Just go. You're fine.
Give me your rope.
It's only 50 feet.
I think we're going to have to tie some rope end to end.
Yes, and I'll start tying rope together.
Well, I don't even know if there's anything down there.
I can see it. There's a bundle down there. Here, take this.
A bundle?
Yeah, and I'll start tying the rope around your waist.
I put my arms up so she can put it around my waist.
Mia, hold the other end.
Wait. What's the plan here? Are you just dropping me in?
Yes.
Hurry, before they all wake up. Your spell's gonna end.
Oh, okay. I get over on the side of the hole and sort of, like I'm rappelling down a mountain and go down.
Shaft goes down the hole.
As you're rappelling down, as the shaft enters the hole. As you're rappelling. We have penetration, folks.
I'm just going to put the tip in it first, and then I'm going to say, how's everybody feeling right now?
This is another example of a blooper where Bill just smiles and he doesn't get included in the blooper. Because...
Plausible deniability.
Okay, so massage the hole.
So it's like hot dog down a hallway kind of thing going here with the shaft in it, because the hole is very large. The shaft is very small. Now, average for a man of his size, but in relation to the...
Yeah. Well, I'll jiggle around as much as I can to make sure I hit all the
Oh
sides.
my gosh.
it's all about the motion of the ocean. Not
That's right.
It's all about
Your
the
name
angle.
was born for this moment.
You quickly get past where the ice has formed over inside of the pit, and you're as you're repelling your feet there, it's not dirt, it's stone. The walls of this pit the whole way down is like a solid rock, and it's clear that something has like carved into this rock. And you get to the bottom, right at the end of the rope, and can set on the ground. And at your feet, there's like a cloth bundle, like burlap bundle.
Okay, I will sort of assess its size and then sort of, I mean, does it seem like it's warm? Anything odd about this, or does it just look like a burlap bundle?
It just looks like a very mundane burlap covering. Over, like, if you were to pick it up, like, you could easily hold it, right?
So that's what I'll do. I'll pick it up in the bundle, sort of assess its weight. Is it heavy?
Yeah, it feels fairly heavy, but as you pick it up, it's clear, like, metal on metal contact kind of noises as the items within are shifting around.
Mia, pull him up. He has it.
Wait! And I'll open it up.
And it does contain a pair of solid gold gauntlets, and even in complete darkness, they still have this sheen to them, this perfection almost in both their craft and condition.
We start pulling you up.
Okay, before
I see that sheen and I'm on it.
I'll put them in my bag of holding so I don't drop them and have to do this again. And then grab onto the rope so they're not just yanking me up on my waist.
Yeah, get out. Let's get out of here. Gotta be quiet.
I'll ride it up.
And Mia and Shakara pull you to the top of the pit.
Let's get back to Buttercup and get out of here before Samuel turns the tower on.
Yes, let's.
So, I have one spell slot left for Pass Without a Trace. So I will recast that.
Dang. Clutch.
Shaft, where could we go to rest? I'm too tired to go back now.
We can get about a mile down out of the camp. Let's get a good distance here.
Yeah, for sure.
Follow me. And I'm going to take the path, pretty much try to go straight through the middle of the encampment. There's a couple smaller tents that we've checked that don't have any, or I guess these tents we didn't check, did we?
Yeah, there are still a number of them on the eastern edge of the encampment that have yet to be checked, in addition to the large central main tent.
If you if you start heading towards the middle, I will say, the basilisks that woke up, they're in those middle tents.
Okay, so what I think I'll try to do is head directly east, sort of the northeasterly direction, because there's very few tents there, and one of them I know doesn't have a basilisk in it, so I think we'll try to move up towards the one directly east of where we stand.
I'll follow him.
Give me some stealth here.
I mean, there may be other stuff inside those tents, but I think we got what we came for.
18 for Falzarin.
22.
20.
All right, you can make it to the eastern edge of the settlement.
Awesome. I think as soon as we get sort of outside of the encampment area, sort of find some cover behind some trees and everything, and say, all right, where's your horse? I
will telepathically call Buttercup to me.
Buttercup is able to just know where you are?
Within a mile, I can talk to her.
Okay, what instructions are you going to give her?
Go around the edge of the camp and come towards us.
It's about 1.6 kilometers.
I don't know how far that is.
The war horses don't understand metric.
Does not compute.
War horses don't understand much. All right. I will.
She's got a 6 intelligence.
I will take those instructions to be good enough for me not to get to petrify another one of your pets.
Thanks.
You are just waiting for Buttercup before doing anything, then obviously you're...
Yes.
Yeah, because I think as soon as the Buttercup gets there, we're going to mount up and take off, right? Get some distance.
Okay, what direction are you going to be moving? The thought is to get out of the range of the tower, right?
Yeah. Yes. So which direction would that be for us? More northerly direction?
Yes, it would be like northwesterly, or north. In north you may have to go a little further north. But so remember the settlement was about 4 miles from the tower. So you got to move just over 2 miles to get out of its area of effect.
Okay. So I think we'd head north initially till we got a pretty good distance away from the camp, and then head out to the northwest.
Yeah.
Making sure we get, what I feel is a good distance away, so we're outside of the range.
Which way did Samuel say he was going to be when he went in?
They're going to be moving from your position, like southwest, essentially.
Okay, so if we went around northwest and then came back around west-south, we'd be eventually meeting him.
Or southwest.
No, west-south.
Okay.
That's right. Yes, so you could find a position outside of the effects of the tower to like camp for the night, and then in the morning skirt the radius of the tower and move in like a south
I
direction.
know, I feel like Mia would even stay awake to be sure that the blue light's not hitting us before we fall asleep type thing. Like, that's how
Sure,
nervous
yeah, no.
Like, you
that's
fall
a-
asleep in the blue light, you're so screwed. We're not attuned to anything yet.
We'll need to take watch, right? Take turns watching.
Definitely.
Tiny hut?
No huts? Come on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but still.
Both. Did we talk long enough for Buttercup to come to us?
Yes. Buttercup's here. Wow, that was great.
Oh, hey, Buttercup.
So are we going to
Unpetrified.
be far enough in that we are farther north than the southernmost big mountain? I forget which one that was. I think.
So essentially, the small unnamed peak that you are on, by moving another 2 miles, you kind of have the choice of moving farther in elevation or basically moving like around this little peak, because the peak itself is not very tall. It's only about 1.5 miles high. So even if you went to the tip of it, you'd still be within the effects of the tower. So you kind of do have to go around or up and over, I suppose, to make the distance.
I just wondered when we ultimately, like tomorrow, start heading west to then go south, are we going to have to scale one of the 3 like really big mountains? Mignard, that's what it is.
No, that's much further west still.
Okay. So we won't need to go up and over that one.
Did Samuel allude to where on the map he would end up being?
Yeah, like it's not going to be a problem for you all to find. Also, he said like they're essentially setting up another front line for the paladins, right? Which is ultimately going to be like right at the edge of the tower's influence. So they have this, protective area behind them, kind of at their back to embolden or at least have a place to retreat to if needed.
So, we're going to go north, camp, get up, and then go where we need to go. Shaft knows the direction, and he's not paying attention to any of these other doofuses. They can either stay within the distance of me or not.
Right.
I need a long rest so bad right now.
That's the plan. So I think we travel out, and this is sort of a clear night with, sort of the stars out, you said, and everything was sort of clear. So I think we go find a place that's sort of covered up, in the trees, any grouping of trees that we can put a tiny hut in and try to get a night's sleep.
Okay. Yes, you can basically, again, kind of circumnavigate this peak, and you kind of end up almost on the opposite side of it. And you can descend in elevation kind of on the other side of this. And yeah, you are able to find a bit of that same tree line that kind of runs around the mountains. And so, Falzern, you want to throw up a tiny hut. You've found a seemingly suitable place for a night's rest.
Yeah, I think so.
Does it come with a fireplace?
It doesn't, but I think it does say that it's comfortable within it.
That's nice.
So it provides us some protection from the elements.
You all sleep. I will take first watch.
Yes, I think that's a good idea, Shakara. We should definitely keep watch. This is dangerous terrain around here.
If you see an Umber Hulk, let me know.
I'm going to take a look at these gauntlets as I'm sitting there. Not trying to attune to them, but get a good understanding of what they look like, and, maybe show Falzarin and say, do some detect magic on these things to see if there's anything that Samuel wasn't telling us about them.
Ooh, I want to stay awake to see this.
Or identify, I should say.
We should attune to our cubes, you guys.
Yeah, during my watch, that is what I will do. I will take off my ring of mind shielding and attune to my cube.
Do we plan to go back into the blue zone?
Just in
We
case.
have to, don't we?
No, we're going to meet Samuel outside of the zone.
There's no telling what will happen tomorrow.
It's probably not a bad idea. I agree.
I guess I will attune to the cube, and I will remove my attunement to the shackles of shackling.
Falzarin's going to give up his attunement to the cap of casting that he's been using for a very long time.
Should I really attune to this, guys? I'm pretty strong. I can handle a bit of being tired.
You do as you see fit.
No, I'll ponder on that thought until my watch.
So, Falzarin, can you do identify and on these gauntlets?
Yeah, I can.
Shaft, give me my sword.
Here, let me see if I can find it here. Yeah, it must have fell out of the bag. I don't have it.
Ah, very funny.
Oh, wait, here it is.
Wait, it's not... Are we calling it your sword now?
I have
Until
been.
Samuel sees it.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of.
I mean, if he sees it, we're going to have to say we got it off the doppelgangers.
He is not here right now, is he?
Nope. And I hand it to you.
Okay, so Falzarin, once Lehman's tiny hut is up, before he starts to take his rest, he will try to identify these gauntlets and see what he can learn about them.
Much like the amulet itself, they look to be completely comprised of gold, like as if they've just been cast from solid gold. Like these pieces, they're ornate essentially only because of what they're crafted of, and again, how they always look like they're brand new. But there's no real like design to them, right? They're very almost utilitarian. They're quite functional. But you do uncover the abilities of these gauntlets. So, like Samuel had alluded to, they are able to emit elemental blasts from the hands. When you're attuned to them, you can use an action to basically blast with both hands, which your hands do need to be empty to do so. But you make 2 attack rolls, so it's kind of like 2 beams, like if you were to Eldritch Blast. But you make it with a plus 10 ranged attack bonus to a single target of 120 feet. You can choose a different target for each hand. And while emitting the blasts for each hand, you can choose what type of damage you would like to inflict between poison, fire, cold, acid, lightning, or thunder. Each hand deals 4d6 plus 10 of the chosen type damage. And you can use those, like the amulet, 3 times per long rest.
So I will convey that to anyone who's still awake. Explain kind of what I've learned about the gauntlets. They certainly seem to be quite powerful and versatile.
Quite impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, not surprised. Dang.
Okay. I put them back in the bag. Let's keep them safe till we can give them to Sammy. And I sort of lay back on my bedroll and kick my boots off and close my eyes. Wake me up in the morning.
Wake you up for your watch. Yes.
Well, Shaft, yeah, I think we all need to take a watch.
I roll over.
Falzarin, I'll wake you next.
Okay. Sounds
Oh,
good.
that means I'll have to wake up Shaft, dang it. Falzarin, please wake up Shaft.
Yeah, I can I can have Shaft take watch after me. That's fine.
Hey, can you guys be quiet? I'm trying to get some sleep.
All right. Be safe, Shakara.
All right, first watch. Could you make me a perception check, please?
25. Natural 20.
All right, your watch into the night seems to be uneventful, though I'm not sure. I mean, this far north in the mountains, I know for sure Shakara has never spent too much time here. So I think the sounds, just of the ambient sounds of your surroundings, are just a little different, and maybe take you a bit to get accustomed to. Just the odd snapping of branches under weight of snow on some of the trees. I mean, the sound of that snow hitting, impacting as well. Unfamiliar, but you're able to ascertain exactly what, where the noises are coming from, and kind of maybe give you a bit of a brief kind of spook, or like, oh, something's there, but clearly just kind of the nature around you. Next watch, Falzarin. Can roll me perception as well.
Uh-oh. Falzarin's perception is 3.
Good.
Might as well have just kept
Great.
sleeping, Falzarin.
It's better than Shaft's will be when he's asleep.
Falzarin, there's nothing else that you want to specifically do during your watch. I guess, sorry, I didn't ask Shakara. Like, Shakara, are you going to maybe want to spend your watch recalling Sparky, or redoing that? Or anything else?
So be an hour to attune to the cube.
Right.
And then it would be an hour and 10 minutes. If I am doing that with Sparky, am I still having that high of a perception for what's going on around me?
Not really.
I think I would wait, just for concern of how many Neogi we saw at the camp. I would, after getting attuned to the cube, out of necessity, I would wait on Sparky so that I can pay attention to what's going on.
Okay, great. So, sorry, Mia, you had said that you maybe wanted to have waited for the activation of the tower before actually settling into... Is that true for all of you? Like, do you want to basically, once the tower goes up, then you can settle in and do your watches here?
Part of me just wants to be sure that we're outside the reach, like 100%.
That's fine. I assume though Falsey's still putting up the hut the second you're settling down. So it's only, let's see. You would have to wait about a couple hours. You're pretty quick getting up there, especially on your mounts. So kind of before we're into our watches here, from your position on the other side of this mountain though, in a couple hours after having settled down, of which you can actually do your attunements to while you're all awake as well. So you can kind of take care of that for your watches. But like almost like a spotlight is lighting up, or something that would be as bright as the moon on a clear sky. This blue illumination, essentially from like behind your position, because you're on the other side of this peak now. But yes, you just see like what looks like a wall of blue, and it doesn't quite reach you like natural light does, right? Like if it was sunlight, you would be awash in it from its source. There's clearly a limit, and it looks like it literally just looks like a wall of blue, which you can see into, but still clearly there is, it's like its boundaries are demarcated, right, by the darkness of the night and the blue of the effect of the tower.
Okay, so we're good.
You are good, yeah.
So would then I have time waiting for this blue light to find familiar?
Absolutely, yep.
Then I will do so, and I'll call Sparky back.
Back to Falzarin's watch. Falzarin, with your 3. Now, was there anything you wanted to do?
I think Falzarin is going to find it hard to resist this new scroll that he has acquired. He would like to try and... I think maybe that's why he's perhaps not doing the greatest job paying attention to his surroundings. He's going to start transcribing that into his spellbook on his watch.
Okay, so just take note of how many hours you're putting. You get 2 hours into the progress on that.
While I'm sleeping, Sparky and I are definitely cuddled together.
Of course.
course.
Dendar, cuddle puddle.
Cuddle, cuddle.
Okay, Falzarin, I mean, you make your 2-hour progress and uneventful as far as you're concerned.
As far as you're concerned.
What an easy watch.
Just flew by. Mia's next.
Well, heeding Mia's pleas to not have her be the one to wake Shaft, Falzarin will try and wake Shaft next. So he's going to go over to Shaft. Shaft, it's your time to take watch.
I don't want the next one. Get somebody else.
Shaft, come on. We've all got to do it. It's your turn. Come on.
We're in the hut. Nothing's gonna see us. It's just fine.
Well, things can see us in here.
I nudge Shaft with my foot.
Everybody sounds like everybody else is awake.
I
You
go
don't need me.
Back to sleep.
All right, I roll over, sort of sit up for a second, rub my eyes. All right, go to sleep. I got it.
Shaft, you better stay awake.
I'm fine.
We're all depending
Fine.
on you.
Oh, well, yeah, I know. No problem.
All right. So Falzarin will roll over, tuck his spellbook away, and
Cuddle with it.
get some sleep. Yes.
I was going to
yes.
say, yeah.
Falzarin's the big spoon. His spellbook's the little spoon.
Sparky's the big spoon.
Shaft, you can roll me a perception.
That's a 16.
Now, unlike the rest of the party, though, you are very familiar with the sounds, the natural sounds of life in the mountains, and none of which surprises you, right? To hear what you're hearing, just the weight of snow in the trees, etc. Still, the night remains clear and bright from the stars, and of course the blue illumination. And I don't know, it's difficult to explain. Like, it's obviously not illuminating your area, right? Like, it's not. You're still relying on your dark vision, but it's kind of similar to how you've seen the basilisk eyes in the distance. It's like this object that you can clearly make out from like miles away, right? What strikes you as being odd, though, is the lack of like animal noises. There are still nocturnal animals and nocturnal life on the surface of the mountains, none of which you've really encountered since approaching the abandoned settlement and making camp here. So there definitely seems to be an absence of activity here amongst these peaks.
Okay, so I find this odd, but is can I surmise anything basically because of the tower just got turned on, so it's not going to be the tower because we haven't heard anything since we left, like you said, right? So like the animals have been driven away. Do I feel like they're, like birds and things like that? I don't hear anything, any kind of noises like that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think kind of noticing this paired with the knowledge you have of the basilisk and how strange it is. Like, essentially those basilisks they've moved into that settlement, right, and took over the shelter there, which again they're more accustomed to kind of warmer climates and being underground. So clearly something is like you say, either driving life away or doing something else to it,
I don't feel like these basilisks have been going around and turning all these animals to stone and all that. That doesn't, because we would have seen like creatures and things so it's not anything like that. Just everything's sort of exited, like when we talked about Goldham and they said that the animals were being driven from the forest. I feel like this is probably the same type of thing.
You're correct in saying that, like, if it was a result of this band of basilisks being in the area, that you would find signs again, like, of petrified animals and their petrified prey. I mean, even in the camp, the piles of rubble, like, clearly those are finished meals of the basilisk, right? Like the stone creatures that have been consumed there, and that's just the scraps left over. So yeah, you haven't seen anything like that outside of the settlement.
Well, I'll keep that in mind and sort of keep an extra eye out as we travel tomorrow. I'm, gonna be looking around to see if there's anything, be more aware of that, looking for, creatures of the forest and such, and the mountains. And just continue to look. I'll just look as I'm waiting and trying to keep myself awake. I'll look through, my bag and, I'm pulling out stuff and look. Here's, potion of healing and things. And I pull out and I find the Eye of Scrying that I used a long time ago and realized I forgot I had it. And so, I gotta lay that down. And I'm digging through and I find this necklace with a pearl in it. And that was Gozer's at one point in time that I had acquired. So I sort of lay that down. I'm sort of just thinking about the different things that we've done throughout the adventure. And I find my journal, and I sort of scroll through some pages there and take a few notes, and then stick it all back into my bag I would make sure nobody else is awake while I do this. That's it. End of the show. Thanks for listening. But before you go, I got a couple of things I want to tell you about. You can find the Incorrigible Party all over the interwebs. You can just go to incorrigibleparty.com and you can find all the links there. While you're there, check out the Patreon. There's some really cool stuff you could do with the Patreon, like give inspiration to Shaft. Or you can waste it and give it to one of those other mooks. Even worse, you could give it to Leland. Also, you can get access to mini campaigns and other cool stuff that we do. You're automatically entered into all contests. I mean, it's really a great deal. The Incorrigible Party is sponsored by Critical Hit Design. All ambient sounds and music provided by tabletopaudio.com. Intro and outro music is by Josh Jarvis, and you can email him at jamesmercymusic@gmail.com if you need any music stuff. Okay, that's it. Now you can go. Happy adventuring!